NSCAA convention to me is probably the best place to get any sort of education of a wide variety that you can go in the world.
Always nice to see who you wander across in the hallways, might have a quick word with.
So I think it's exciting to meet youth coaches and high school coaches and even college coaches who are all really passionate about the sport.
It's a learning experience. I think it's invaluable both from a coach standpoint and from an administrative standpoint.
Each year, the NSCAA puts over 7,000 coaches through our coaching education program. Youth, high school, and college coaches at all levels participate in the diploma courses. No matter where you are in your coaching path, we have something for you. Join your peers and get educated. Better coaching, better players, better game. NSCAA Coaching Academy. Improving soccer, one coach at a time. Register today at nscaa.com/education.
Welcome to the 2014 NSCAA Game of the Week and a very good Friday afternoon coming to you from the fields in Buena Vista, Virginia. Tonight's matchup, a regional rivalry between the 2-2 Hampden Sydney Tigers looking for their third straight win and a third straight shutout win, taking on the Southern Virginia Knights looking for an end to their three-game losing streak. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Matt Digby. Glad you could join us on this Friday afternoon from Southern Virginia University. This is set to be a great matchup between the Tigers and the Knights, a matchup which occurred last year in Hampden, Sydney, with the home team Tigers winning that match 3-0. And it's been a rocky start for both teams, but Hampden Sydney has been able to get off to a 2-2 start in 2014. They've won their last two games, each via a shutout. Their last game was this past Sunday, September 7th, a 4-0 win over Penn State Abington, while Southern Virginia did win their season opener, and they have struggled mightily since then. They have been shut out themselves the last few games. Their last matchup on Tuesday was a 3-0 loss at Washington and Lee. The Knights are 1-3 on the season, but good news for SVU fans. Efren Gutierrez is back in the starting lineup as the goalkeeper. He did get injured in the second game of the season, and while he was out, Colin Flynn was in goal, but Gutierrez has been given the okay to start again for the Knights as they take on the Tigers here at the Fields in Buena Vista. Taking a look at the starting lineup first for the designated home team Knights. As I mentioned, the starting goalkeeper is a junior from Santa Barbara, California, number 1, Efren Gutierrez. Starting midfielder, a freshman from Deer Park, Washington, number 2, Jarrett Attridge. At midfielder, a sophomore from Lynchburg, Virginia, number 7, Carlos Munoz. At forward, a junior from Santa Barbara, California, number 9, Eric Gutierrez. At forward, a freshman from Boise, Idaho, number 11, Carter Woods. At midfield, a freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, number 14, Brahima Maluba. At defender, a sophomore from Farmington, New Mexico, number 16, Court Cox. At midfielder, a sophomore from Dinwiddie, Virginia, number 18, Jose Rivas Cruz. At defender, a freshman from Walnut, California, number 19, Anthony Skeeters. At midfield, a freshman from American Fork, Utah, number 20, Dallin Brand. And the midfielder a freshman from Wilmington, North Carolina, number 24, Cabot Arnay. So Efren Gutierrez, Munoz, Eric Gutierrez, Woods, Maluba, Cox, Rivas Cruz, Skeeters, Brand, and Arnay. The head coach of Southern Virginia in his first season is Josh Patino. He was just hired in February as the new head coach for the Knights. He did play college soccer at BYU and graduated from BYU in 2012. Taking a look at the starting lineup for the Hampden-Sydney Tigers, who come into this game with a record of 2-2. Their starting goalkeeper is a sophomore from Norwich, Connecticut. He wears number 1, Cameron McFarland. Starting midfielder, a sophomore from Moseley, Virginia, number 2, Andrew Parker. Starting forward, a junior from Curitiba, Brazil, number 7, Leo Kowalski. At midfield, a junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 10, Costin Gregory. At midfield, a senior from Midlothian, Virginia, number 11, James Lawrence. At defender, a freshman from Woodbridge, Virginia, number 16, Thomas Carswell. At midfield, a sophomore from Haymarket, Virginia, number 17, Liam Hogan. Starting forward, a sophomore from Hampden, Virginia, number 18, Robert Kirby. Defender is a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 20, Davis Carter. And starting defensive midfielder, a junior from San Antonio, Texas, number 21, Josiah Fleming. And at defender, a junior from Roanoke, Virginia, number 23, Alex Strange. So McFarland, Kowalski, Gregory, Lawrence, Parker, Carswell, Hogan, Kirby, Carter, Fleming, and Strain. The head coach of the Tigers in his 11th season is Josh Lux. He is the winningest head coach in Hampden-Sydney history, getting his record 95th win this past Saturday, September 6th. They did get one more win on Sunday over Penn State Abington to take Lux's win total to 96 for his career. Right now, two teams getting together their final preparations. We will have a moment of silence pregame as we join the Southern Virginia community in mourning the loss of their former president, Mr. Paul Sabowski. He passed away this past Wednesday, September 10th, after an illness at the age of 70. He actually was president for the last 2 years, starting his tenure in June 2012, and then announcing his resignation a couple months ago. His final day as SVU president, as a matter of fact, was August 31st, and then news coming on Wednesday that Mr. Sabrowski had passed away at the age of 70. So our thoughts from everyone at TSG go out to the Southern Virginia community, to the Sabrowski family in this time of mourning, and we will again have a moment of silence in memory of the former Southern Virginia president. Both teams coming off seasons in which Hampden-Sydney, for instance, had a 9-6-3 record. They lost in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinals, the tournament quarterfinals, while Southern Virginia struggled in their final season before hiring Josh Patino, going 1-16-1. They did not play in a postseason tournament. Right now, leading scorers, Eric Gutierrez and Carlos Munoz have a goal each for Southern Virginia, who again won their first game of the season, but have lost their last 3 games, the last 2 of them coming via shutout, while Liam Hogan, the midfielder for Hampden-Sydney, the sophomore from Haymarket, Virginia, leads the Tigers with 3 goals in 2014. And as mentioned earlier, sophomore goalkeeper Cameron McFarland has kept 2 straight shutouts. Couple of notable former students from both schools among Southern Virginia's alumni. Beezy Madden, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in equestrian. She was part of the USA squad that won the team jumping event at both the Athens and Beijing Summer Olympic Games. While Hampden-Sydney has a couple of former students, although many of them did not graduate from Hampden-Sydney, they did attend the college, including the world-famous Stephen Colbert, who studied philosophy at HSC, also former U.S. President William Henry Harrison, and Robert Louis Dabney, who is best known as Stonewall Jackson's biographer. Of course, we are not too far from Lexington, Virginia, which is where Stonewall Jackson's grave is located. Also a memorial house that is a museum that I wish I could tell you a review of what to see, but unfortunately I have not seen it yet, but I certainly hope to. And so a lot of good history here in this part of the Commonwealth of Virginia. So just finishing up was the moment of silence, as mentioned earlier, in honor of the former Southern Virginia University president, Paul Sabrowski, who passed away on Wednesday at the age of 70. And right now we are going to have the teams do the traditional walkout, and shortly coming up, the national anthem. As always, we take this opportunity to thank the servicemen and women, both past, present, and even the future members of our country's military, for their service to the United States of America, especially with yesterday marking 13 years since September 11, 2001, and a day of remembrance for those who lost their lives during the attacks in New York City, Washington, D.C., and also in Pennsylvania. Right now, starting lineups being introduced. Again, let's go through a quick lineup of the outfield players for the Southern Virginia Knights. Jared Attridge, Carlos Munoz, Eric Gutierrez, Carter Woods, Brahima Maluba, Court Cox, Jose Rivas Cruz, Anthony Skeeters, Dallin Brand, and Cabot Arnay. And the starting goalkeeper for the Knights, a junior from Santa Barbara, California, and a transfer from BYU, number 1, Efren Gutierrez. He is back in goal for the Knights after missing the last couple of games with an injury, and Colin Flynn deputized as the keeper. Head coach of the Knights in his first season is Josh Patinos. SVU is 1-3. Hampden Sydney, their starting 11. First, the 10 outfield players: Andrew Parker, Leo Kowalski, Costin Gregory, James Lawrence, Thomas Carswell, Liam Hogan, Robert Kirby, Davis Carter, Josiah Fleming, and Alex Strain. The starting goalkeeper for the Tigers, a sophomore from Norwich, Connecticut, Cameron McFarland, looking for his third straight shutout in what is game number 5 of the 2014 season. The Tigers are coached by Josh Lux in his 11th season, the winningest head coach in Tigers school history. They come in today with a record of 2-2, looking not just for a third straight win, but a third straight shutout win. Hampden Sydney today dressed in their alternating uniforms of gray and maroon. As you can see, going from left to right, look, if you're facing one of the players, it's a maroon right sleeve. On the left side, on the right side of the body is in gray. The left side of the body is in maroon, and the left sleeve is in gray. very similar to those of you who follow English soccer, to the Blackburn Rovers jersey setup. Cameron McFarland is in all yellow with black numbers and black trim. On the outfield players' jerseys, white numbers and black shorts. Southern Virginia going in all white today. White jerseys, white shorts, white socks, green trim, numbers in green. And starting goalkeeper Efren Gutierrez will be in a neon green uniform with a black stripe down the middle, very similar to what the United States wore for their home jersey in the 2006 World Cup in Germany. Today's referees, Dustin Marks is our man in the middle, assisted by Isaac Campbell on the near side and Mitchell Leap over in front of the Southern Virginia bench. This is game number 4 of our NSCAA Small College Game of the Week series. Our previous 3 all occurred last weekend, and in all 3 of those matchups, we had a game featuring the Knights, and the Knights did lose all 3 of those matchups. So will Southern Virginia get the first win for the Knights in terms of teams we've covered on this NSCAA Game of the Week? Dustin Marks waiting to get us underway. Southern Virginia in white kicking off, going left to right across your screen. And this is Carlos Munoz, one of the co-captains, trying to feed forward Eric Gutierrez. So yes, Eric and Efren Gutierrez are both twins, both from Santa Barbara, California, both transferring from BYU, both in their junior years. Both players stand at 6 feet 0 inches tall. Attacking throw-in in the opening minute for Hampden-Sydney, taken by Alex Strain. Cleared forward by Brahima Maluba. Cross out on the wing. This is Jared Attridge, excuse me. Andrew Parker wears number 2 for Hampden-Sydney. Interception for the moment by Strain. Almost winning it back was Dallin Brand, and Southern Virginia have an attacking throw-in just over a minute old in this match. Turnover. Last touch by Jose Rivas Cruz, and Strain will take the throw-in. Couple one-touch volley passes between Munoz and Brand. Throw into the Knights, taken by Brand right at the center line. Here's Court Cox, a sophomore from Farmington, New Mexico, to take this throw-in on the attacking end. Intended for Gutierrez, knocked out. Last touch by Davis Carter. So Cox with another attacking throw-in, now in the 3rd minute. Clearance falls to Munoz, tried to chip ball, easily collected by McFarland. As you do see, the football goalpost, this field does double as a football, field hockey, lacrosse, and in general a multi-purpose stadium for the Southern Virginia Knights. Football actually does not have their first home game here at this site for a while. They do have a home game coming up in several weeks where they are the designated home team, but that match will actually be in Salem, about an hour or so south of Buena Vista, down I-81 South, when they take on Guilford. Their first match here at this particular site is not going to be until October. Goal kick awarded to Hampden-Sydney in the 4th minute. McFarland very eager to start a steady string of shutouts. He has had clean sheets the last 2 matches, including a 4-0 win on Sunday over Penn State Abington. Munoz winning possession. Carter Woods. Anthony Skeeter's his first touch of the ball. Brand plays back a little cautiously towards Cox. Now a turnover gives the ball to Liam Hogan. And Parker's attempted pass towards Leo Kowalski goes out of bounds. Here's Kowalski. The Brazilian sends it forward towards Hogan. Sent back by Skeeters. Brahima Maluba got the touch to direct it past a defender, and now a 1-on-2 opportunity. Here's a shot. Took a bit of a deflection and not a difficult save for McFarland, but offensive pressure building in the 5th minute from Eric Gutierrez. Receiving the pass from Brahima Maluba, who in turn himself fought off James Lawrence to feed his forward and co-captain. Foul gives the ball to Hampden Sydney. Long ball sent inside the box. Liam Hogan got a header to it. Not able to control it. Excuse me, that's not Hogan. That's Robert Kirby, the sophomore forward from Hampton, Virginia. This Hampden Sydney spells Hampton Hampden, so a little different from the Hampton that's out on the coast of the state, Hampton. And a through ball intended for Kirby. Looked to have pushed a Knight defender from behind, but out comes Efren Gutierrez to clear. Now Woods finding Maluba. Pass intended for Gutierrez and cleared by Thomas Carswell, the freshman from Woodbridge, Virginia. Attacking throw-in at the far side upcoming for the Tigers. And looks like a contact there between Maluba and Josiah Fleming. Tigers keeping possession. Attridge to Woods. Here's Maluba. Gutierrez running forward. Maluba trying a pass down the left wing. And Gutierrez will not be able to keep it in play. Yes, it is a defending throw-in for HSC. Foul gives the ball right back to the Tigers. Quickly taken. Turn back over to Maluba. A cross-field pass intended for Attridge. Smartly intercepted by Alex Strain. And now Hampden Sydney on a charge. Here's Kirby. Tried a one-touch pass back towards Strain. Cleared by Cox and an attacking Tiger throw-in. Davis Carter. In towards Costin Gregory. Turned over to Rivas Cruz. Carter called into action again to head the ball out. Long ball sent downfield, intended for Robert Kirby. Quick throw in taken towards Hogan. Cleared in the direction of Strain. Now Kowalski one-on-one with Brand, who knocks the ball out. Hampton will have an attacking throw-in. just under 9 minutes old. As the cross toward no one in particular. Carter trying to feed that one in the box, unsuccessful, and the first goal kick of the afternoon given to Southern Virginia. Temperature has been a very comfortable low to mid 70s here, not a whole lot of wind. And it's been that way throughout the day. We expect it to remain that way throughout this match, which for those of you who are new to NCAA soccer, 2 45-minute halves counting down with stoppages for goals, injuries, or serious fouls, usually the kind of fouls that bring out yellow or red cards. If we're tied after 90 minutes, we will have 2 10-minute periods of sudden death overtime, and only after those overtime periods is the game declared a draw. So if this game does indeed finish in a draw, both teams will have played 110 minutes without a single difference in goals scored. Right now, 1 shot on goal for Southern Virginia, none for Hampden-Sydney in the opening 10 minutes. But here's Robert Kirby finding Hogan. Almost nutmegged his own teammate, did Kirby. And SVU forced to clear, give Hampton an attacking throw-in to be taken by Strain. A couple of fans from Hampden-Sydney making the trip only about an hour away from Buena Vista, but certainly SVU has the fan advantage on this Friday afternoon. No substitutions yet in this match as Josh Patino and Josh Lux continuing to shout instructions from behind the fence. Brand sends a clearance up the middle. And a sliding challenge cleared out. That's the first touch of the afternoon for Cabot Arnay, the freshman from Wilmington, North Carolina. Carter to Strain. Cuts back, now right on the edge of the box. Important clearance by Skeeters. Strain held off by Brand, but Hampton actually was last to touch the ball, turns it over to the Knights for a defending throw-in. Long throw-in over the head of both Eric Gutierrez and Davis Carter. Tigers getting the ball back. Here's Kowalski. Quick turnover to Munoz. And an errant clearance leading to a Josiah Fleming throw-in. Here's Atridge. Crosses back into the field. Uncontrolled touch from Maluba. And a turnover to Hampden-Sydney. This is a pass intended for Kirby down the right flank. Guarded one-on-one by Skeeters. And Southern Virginia earned themselves a throw-in. So smart defending by Anthony Skeeters, the freshman from Walnut, California. Went to Cottonwood High School. And a long clearance, eventually collected by Carswell. Couple of one-touch headers between Kirby and Kowalski. Back heel from Hogan. Finding Gregory. Now out on the wing. Cross deflected back. James Lawrence Quickly turning it over to Maluba. Cross back into Gutierrez. Got away from a sliding tackle, finding Maluba. Josh Lux wanting offside, and the flag does go up. No score here in the 14th minute between the Tigers and the Knights on this NSCAA Game of the Week. This will be our only broadcast of this week if you view Monday through Sunday as the week. Our next broadcast, we will rejoin you on Wednesday, September 17th, when we bring you the North Central Ohio Derby, also in Division III, between the Ohio Wesleyan Battling Bishops and the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. That game kicks off from Delaware, about 30 minutes north of downtown Columbus, at 7 p.m. Eastern, again on Wednesday, September 17th, right here on NSCAA-TV. James Lawrence, back to Gregory, out on the wing to Fleming. Very clean game so far. Dustin Marks happy to let both teams simply play here in this opening quarter hour. Throw-in, again, awarded to Hampden Sydney right in front of the Southern Virginia bench. And an opportunity led to a through ball. Flag was up anyway. Efren Gutierrez did well to come out of the 6-yard box and collect it, but the flag was up anyway for offside. It was Robert Kirby who nearly had an opportunity to open the scoring in the 16th minute. Gutierrez's free kick sent forward, finding Hogan. Kirby, a one-touch back to Kowalski. Left-footed cross, deflected by Cox. Fell right to Gregory and intercepted by the Knights. Forward pass intended for Gutierrez. Carswell will take it and simply pass back to McFarland. So opportunity now for both squads. Southern Virginia still has the only shot on goal in the opening 16 minutes and change. Here's Atridge. Sliding tackle from behind made by Alex Strain. And SVU have a throw-in. And after 17 minutes, we see our first corner of the game cleared out by Hampden Sydney, and Southern Virginia will take this corner at the far end of the field. It will be Carlos Munoz. Both teams playing very far back. Munoz's cross into the box, collected in the air by Cameron McFarland. Quickly throws it out to Kowalski. One-on-one with Brand. Kowalski getting around Brand momentarily, but a good sliding tackle by Cox to win the ball back for the Knights. Here's Atridge. Got around Strain, no foul. Dustin Marks says play on. And Davis Carter called into action to clear out. Dallin Brand will take the attacking throw-in. Dallin's long throw reaches the box, off the chest of Gutierrez, and an important clearance by Hampden Sydney. Now an opportunity for a fast break. Here's Leo Kowalski. Almost ran well ahead of the ball, has to backtrack to maintain possession. Tries to thread a pass, does find Lawrence. Here's Hogan, tries an ambitious effort from long range and just over the crossbar. So a couple important opportunities at each end of the field in a matter of seconds as Eric Gutierrez was able to chest the ball down but not able to fire off a clean shot. I don't think he was expecting to have an opportunity fall to him that suddenly. While Hogan's ambitious effort was always going to be just a little bit high of the crossbar relative to where he took the shot. Tigers throwing in the 20th minute. Taken short to Costin Gregory. Now Kirby was last to touch before the ball went out of bounds. Turnover right back to Southern Virginia. Both coaches are now pacing the touch lines, Josh Patino and Josh Lux. Lux spells his name L-A-U-X. Here's Munoz. At Ridge. One touch from Munoz, finding Woods. Now at Ridge, flag is up for offside. So the trap played to perfection by Alex Strain, and Hampden-Sydney will get a dead ball to restart play now in the 21st minute. And a couple headers just outside the penalty box, cleared forward by Southern Virginia towards Eric Gutierrez. Now Fleming. And Lawrence unable to keep the ball in play. Knights awarded the throw-in. This is Strain. One-on-one with Rivas Cruz. Strain getting around Rivas Cruz, but running almost right over Dallin Brand, who is down on the ground now. He is still on the ground. It didn't look like malicious intent at all, and Brand does get to his feet. Just the nature of the game when it comes to college soccer. There's always going to be physicality, and Strain did look to be sandwiched there in between Rivas Cruz and Brand. But throwing awarded to Hampden-Sydney. Cleared by Skeeters towards Carter. Carswell. Out on the wing to Fleming. Crossing the box intended for Hogan. Got a light header touch and a save from almost point-blank range by Efren Gutierrez. The goal would not have counted. The offside flag was up. But again, Robert Kirby getting in behind the Southern Virginia defense, and it almost paid off with the Tigers' goal, although Mitchell Leap did have his flag up. It would have been offside anyway. Finding its way to Hogan. Almost lost it from behind to Maluba. Andrew Parker towards Kowalski on the left side. One-on-one with Brand just outside the box. Cross deflected out. Parker feeding it towards Hogan. Will keep it in play near the corner flag on the far side. And a goal kick awarded to Southern Virginia now in the 23rd minute. So a little more than halfway through this first half. Only one corner kick and one shot on goal so far, both of those belonging to Southern Virginia. Here's Eric Gutierrez. Arnay's pass, always curling away from the players, out of bounds for an HS throw-in. Strain's header sent back by Brand. And Carter's clearance is a turnover. Southern Virginia throw-in. Here's Lawrence out on the wing to Fleming, getting around Arnay, but pass intended for Kirby goes out of bounds. No substitutions made by either Patino or Lux in the opening 25 minutes. No cards to report either. Here's Kowalski getting away from Brand. And the touch intended for Strain, unable to change direction. It was actually cleared, and Hampden-Sydney have an attacking throw-in. Here's Kirby. Falling to Costa Gregory, trying a shot from distance. Right at Efren Gutierrez, but that's the first shot on goal for Hampden-Sydney coming in the 26th minute. Not the most difficult save Efren Gutierrez will ever make, but again, it is his first game back in goal after missing the last few matches with injury. This is Munoz. Cross intended for Kowalski, trying to fight off Brand. Out comes Efren Gutierrez again. So the junior from Santa Barbara, California, called into action in just the last couple minutes. Sends a long clearance intended for Attridge, and a collision between Davis Carter and Eric Gutierrez. Free kick awarded to the Tigers. '27th minute now. McFarland's free kick intended for Lawrence. And that ball bouncing off the fence, and Hampden-Sydney awarded their first quarter kick of the afternoon in the 27th minute. It will be Leo Kowalski from Curitiba, Brazil to take. Both teams now with a corner kick each and a shot on goal each. Kowalski on the left foot, punched out temporarily by Gutierrez, and a header sent back just to the left of the near post. Looked to be Davis Carter getting the final touch before going out of play. Goal kick awarded to the Knights. As we mentioned earlier, 3 games last weekend, all of them featuring a team nicknamed the Knights. Gannon, who are actually the Golden Knights, Calvin, and Bellarmine. All 3 of those teams lost their respective matches to Charleston, Wheaton, and Ohio Dominican. Can Southern Virginia make it a first win for the Knights in teams we cover in this NSCAA Game of the Week series? As we take a look at this corner kick here from Kowalski, it was punched out temporarily by Gutierrez, but a header was sent just wide as we're back live now. Here's Woods trying to fight off Parker, finding Maluba. Tried a one-touch shot from a long distance out. McFarland diving to his right to make the save. Our official statisticians are counting that as a shot on goal, so that's 2 in the first half for Southern Virginia. Here's Liam Hogan trying to find Kowalski. Flag was down. Dallin Brand, in the meantime, clears it for an attacking Tiger throw-in. And we're going to see our first substitutions of the afternoon, one from each school. In the game for Southern Virginia is number 22, Mason Brown, a freshman midfield forward from Peoria, Utah. He led the teams in opening prayer this afternoon, and we will get the Hampden-Sydney substitute confirmed for you momentarily. As a clearance sent back to Carswell. Awkward touch intended for Carter, intercepted by Eric Gutierrez. Gutierrez in the one-on-one with Carswell. Has two teammates to his left. Dustin Mark says play on as Rivas Cruz wanted to line up a shot from distance, deflected out. And an attacking throw-in awarded to Southern Virginia. I can confirm the Tigers' new substitute, number 35, Michael Kim, a sophomore from Fairfax, Virginia, brought in that forward. We're now over a half hour old in this Division III match. This is Gregory. His clearance deflected out, last touch by Gutierrez, as Patino going to send a couple players out to warm up, and he will be making a substitution very soon. Waiting to enter for the first time tonight will be number 5, Colby Briggs, a freshman forward from Chesapeake, Virginia. So Briggs waiting on the touchline to enter now in the 32nd minute. This is Carter. Towards Lawrence. Heavy control with the chest. Almost lost it to Southern Virginia. Now across down the far wing towards Kirby. Tried to guide it towards Kim. Unable to control it. Out for a Knights goal kick. And we will see the introduction of Briggs in the 32nd minute. He replaces Brahima Maluba, who looks to be walking gingerly off the stadium turf here in Buena Vista. And Maluba right now being attended to by a trainer. He will likely stay that way for the remaining 12:42 and counting. Here come the Knights on the attack. This is Carter Woods. Briggs' first touch, finding Gutierrez. One-touch pass, a mistimed clearance by Arnay. And now Robert Kirby running down the far side. Right in front of the Southern Virginia bench. Crossing the box intended for Kim. Out comes Efren Gutierrez to catch the ball. So again, Hampden-Sydney almost catching the Knight defense on a counterattack, but Efren Gutierrez in his first game back from injury, keeping a shutout through 33 minutes. This is Parker. Pass intended for Kim, intercepted by Brand, who tries to pass of his own. Attempted clearance goes awry. Intended recipient was Mason Brown, who was unable to catch up to the strong pace of Brand's pass. Out comes McFarland to collect. Munoz. Brown back to Woods. Rivas Cruz. And McFarland will collect with now exactly 11 minutes separating us from halftime. No goals so far, no cards. One corner kick for each for both Hampden, Sydney, and Southern Virginia. 2 shots on goal for Southern Virginia, 1 for the Hampden Sydney Tigers. Parker. Here's Strain. Cross into the box, over the head of Hogan, cleared out by Arnay towards Rivas Cruz. Now Arnay sends it forward, intended for Briggs. Too much pace, out comes McFarland, clears it well beyond the 18-yard box. And now a double substitution upcoming for Josh Lux and the Hampden City Tigers. We will see the first appearances today for number 13 and number 31. So Troy Hamner, a freshman midfielder from Salem, Virginia, and Ryan Turner, another freshman midfielder from Raleigh, North Carolina. They are now in the game with just about 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half. And in the meantime, we have a collision down at the far end of the field. Cabot Arday was slow to get up, but did so under his own power. And right now, tending to Jose Rivas Cruz, who has been very influential on the attacking end. He's the majority of the first half for Southern Virginia, but Rivas Cruz is able to get up under his own power, and that's our first stoppage of the match at the 9:36 mark. As McFarland collects the free kick, taken in good-naturedness, and we are ready to continue this first half. Here's Skeeters. Loses possession to Turner just outside the box, winning it right back. Turner's cross intended for Kim. Now Gregory. Maintaining possession, but tried a backheel touch, lost it to Southern Virginia. Here's Gutierrez. Intended for Mason Brown down the far side, and a collision there with Alex Strain. Southern Virginia earned themselves an attacking throw-in. This is Briggs. Back to Brand. Uncontrollable touch, turnover to Turner. One-on-one, Ryan Turner and Dallin Brand. Rushing from behind was Hamner, looking to provide extra support for the Tigers in attack. And here is Hamner. Now one touch from Hogan to Turner. Smart interception by Anthony Skeeters. And it results in the second corner of the afternoon for Hampden Sydney. It's going to be costing Gregory to take, the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, transferred to Hampden Sydney from Appalachian State. Gregory's corner. Hogan got a header, but not a whole lot of control from that delivery. And out for a Southern Virginia goal kick. And we're going to see another substitution for the Tigers. Number 8, Brian Barahona, the senior midfielder from Guatemala City, went to Meadowbrook. High School. Here's Hamner trying to fake out Brand. Here's Kim. Barahona's first touch of the ball. Munoz getting the ball to Brown around Strain. Brown maintaining possession. And a foul gives the ball to the Knights on a free kick. 39th minute, no score. One shot on goal, actually 2 shots on goal for the Knights. 1 for the Tigers. One could say Efren Gutierrez has been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers in this first half, having to come out, make a couple collections in the 18-yard box as Hamner's cross into the middle of the field, deflected and intercepted by Skeeters. Try to pass to Rivas Cruz, who didn't expect Skeeters to pass so far out on the wing. Turnover gives the ball to Strain. Hogan, 3 goals so far in 4 games for the Tigers. Strain continuing his run. Turns it over to Munoz. This is Carter Woods with space in the middle of the field. Out on the left side, intended for Eric Gutierrez. Too much pace. Coming up on the final 5.5 minutes of the first half. Attacking throwing for Southern Virginia, who, to my knowledge, have only made 2 substitutions, Colby Briggs and Mason Brown. In place of Jared Attridge and Brahima Maluba. Parker. Munoz. Rivas Cruz. Gutierrez getting around Kim. Bringing it back to the middle where he does have a little bit of space, but not for long. A deflected pass falls to Josiah Fleming. Fleming continuing his run past midfield. And ball was actually directed out of bounds. Turnover, throw-in awarded to Southern Virginia. This is Hogan trying a through ball intended for Hamner. Important clearance from Skeeters, who continues to follow up with that clearance. Send it towards Carter Woods. Now running down the right flank. This is Mason Brown. Will not beat Strain to the ball. Strain keeps it in play, finding Parker. Tackled from behind by Woods. Quick free kick awarded by Dustin Marks, the referee. And another Hampden-Sydney free kick coming up in the final 3 minutes and change of the first half. Parker takes it quickly to Barahona. Fleming to Hogan. Hogan loses possession to Woods. Couple one-touch passes between Woods and Rivas Cruz, and Fleming gets the ball back for the Tigers. Through ball intended for Ryan Turner. Too much pace, intercepted by Skeeters. Clears in front of the Knight bench. 150 seconds to go in the first half. Parker, Hamner. Barahona, missed clearance. Now falling to Hogan. Intercepted by Davis Carter. Trying to set up Ryan Turner for the header. Just beyond his reach. Throw into Southern Virginia. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Here's Rivas Cruz. Brand. Attempted pass downfield, deflected back to Skeeters. One-on-one with Hamner. Brown to Briggs. Lost possession to Carter. Barahona. '45th and final minute of the first half. A game that has been played for the most part very cleanly. Not too many fouls for Dustin Marks to call. And both teams still looking for that all-important first goal, even though they have had a couple of shots on target. Free kick awarded with 30 seconds remaining. It will be Alex Strain to take. Sending on the left foot into the box. Bounces! And a point-blank save from Efren Gutierrez, preserving the scoreless scoreline. Cleared by Skeeters. Wood sends it downfield, and that will do it for the first half. So Hampden-Sydney piling the pressure in the final minute, but Efren Gutierrez, in his first game back from injury, stands tall with a number of important saves in the first 45 minutes. And the Knights and Tigers are no better than when we started 45 minutes ago. Your halftime score, Southern Virginia 0, Hampden-Sydney 0. We'll come back, bring you up to date with the latest news. And then we'll bring you the second half of the NSCAA Game of the Week, presented by the Tourbeau Sports Group Network.
The NSCAA convention to me is probably the best place to get any sort of education of a wide variety that you can go in the world.
always nice to see who you wander across in the hallways, might have a quick word with.
So I think it's exciting to meet youth coaches and high school coaches and even college coaches who are all really passionate about the sport.
It's a learning experience. I think it's invaluable both from a coach standpoint and from an administrative standpoint.
Each year, the NSCAA puts over 7,000 coaches through our coaching education program. Youth, high school, and college coaches at all levels participate in the diploma courses. No matter where you are in your coaching path, we have something for you. Join your peers and get educated. Better coaching, better players, better game. NSCAA Coaching Academy. Improving soccer, one coach at a time. Register today at nscaa.com/education.
And we're back for the Tourbeau Sports Game of the Week exclusively on NSCAA-TV.com. As we continue our halftime segment, let's check up on some of the recent rankings announced by the NSCAA across men's soccer and the different divisions. But first, before we do that, we encourage you to log on to our website, TourbeauSportsGroup.com, to purchase Game Video. We are the official video production company and organizing body of the Small College Game of the Week series on NSCAA-TV. To learn more about us, just visit our website, Tourbeau, Tourbeau, Sports Group, all one word, .com. As we take a look at the Division I rankings first, UCLA right now is atop the division, even though they did go 1-1 in this last week, while the Creighton Blue Jays are currently in second. North Carolina, Notre Dame, and Louisville rounding out the top five. Georgetown, Michigan State, New Mexico, UC Irvine, and Washington rounding out the top 10. As we take a look at the Division II rankings, this was the first in-season rankings of the 2014 season. It was just released Tuesday. Southern New Hampshire topping the rankings, followed by Simon Fraser, Rollins, Saginaw Valley State. University of Charleston comes in at number 8 in the rankings after a convincing 6-0 season opening win over Gannon University. That was our first game of the week on this past Friday, as a matter of fact. And the top 10 are rounded out by Cal State Los Angeles and Southern Connecticut State. Now moving over to the Division III rankings, Messiah, Kenyon, Williams, Trinity of Texas, and SUNY Oneonta are the top 5. Christopher Newport maintaining their unbeaten run. They are now 4-0, as is Franklin and Marshall. Hope College gets into the top 10 after coming up from 25th. And Brandeis and Lawrence rounding out the top 10. Franklin and Marshall, of course, making the biggest jump after not being in the top 25 a week ago. They are in the top 25 for this week. Our upcoming broadcast, our next match will come to you from Delaware, Ohio, just north of Columbus, on Wednesday, September 17th, when Ohio Northern travels to meet Ohio Wesleyan. Ohio Wesleyan won at Ohio Northern in this matchup last year, 2-1, coming from behind to win in the second half. And then we will rejoin you also on Friday, September 19th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Springfield, Missouri, when the University of Indianapolis takes on Drury. That game will kick off at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time. Just a few minutes until second half action continues from the fields here at Buena Vista, Virginia. No score between the Hampden-Sydney Tigers and the Southern Virginia Knights. Knights looking for their first win since the season opener, while Hampden-Sydney is in pursuit of not just their third straight win, but their third straight shutout win. We'll take a quick break, come back, bring you the second half of the NSCAA Small College Game of the Week, presented by the Tourbeau Sports Network. No score after 45 minutes between the Hampden-Sydney Tigers and the Southern Virginia Knights here at the Fields in Buena Vista, Virginia. As we take a look at the first half highlights, both teams with 2 shots on goal, one each from Costin Gregory and Brick Kiefer. He was a late substitute for the Tigers in the first half. Southern Virginia had 1 shot, both of them on target, each from Eric Gutierrez and Brahima Moluba. 2 saves each for Cameron McFarland and Efren Gutierrez, the 2 starting goalkeepers. McFarland, again in pursuit of his 3rd straight shutout, as Efren Gutierrez was the busier of the 2 goalkeepers for the majority of the first half. Gutierrez in his first game back following injury. As we take a look at some of the highlights there towards the end of the first half, where Hampden-Sydney had a couple of quarters and a couple of important opportunities, as a header simply went just to the left of the near post. That very nearly broke the deadlock, and then later Hampden-Sydney would have another opportunity, but again, now comes Gutierrez to collect the ball inside the 18-yard box. Shots by period, Hampden-Sydney had 4 overall. The 2 shots that were judged to be off target coming from Liam Hogan and Davis Carter. 2 corner kicks to the Tigers in the first half, 1 for the Knights. Back here at the Fields, teams simply getting ready to resume the second half. Again, if you're new to NCAA soccer, the clock counts down from 45. Stoppages for goals, injuries, and major fouls, usually the kind that result in red or yellow cards. We've done now, this is our 4th game of the NSCAA Small College Game of the Week series. We have yet to see a red card, although we have seen a couple cautions throughout the last weekend or so. If we're still tied after 90 minutes, we will then play 2 10-minute sudden death periods of extra time. And our last game, as a matter of fact, did go to extra time between Ohio Dominican and Bellarmine, where the Panthers earned a penalty 1 minute and 33 seconds into the first period of extra time. They converted that penalty, won the game 3-2, and Ohio Dominican continuing their unbeaten start to the 2014 campaign. Matchup of 2 teams who right now are headed in opposite directions. Hampden-Sydney lost their first 2 matches of the season, but have won their last 2 matches via shutout, while Southern Virginia, after opening the season with a win, have struggled, losing their last 3 games, the last 2 of them coming via a shutout. This is a non-conference matchup. Hampden-Sydney hailing from the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, Southern Virginia from the Capital Athletic Conference, and Hampden-Sydney will be back on the road in a couple days for their next game, Wednesday, September 17th, when they take on Lynchburg in Lynchburg. That game kicks off at 8 p.m. Meanwhile, Southern Virginia is back here at the Fields tomorrow, Saturday, September 13th, for a 2 p.m. kickoff with Methodist. Again, we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, Southern Virginia playing this game in memory of their late former president, Mr. Paul Sabrowski. Mr. Sabrowski resigned, as a matter of fact, on August 31st after a 2-year tenure as president of the university, and then passed away on Wednesday, September 10th, at the age of 70 following a long illness. There was a moment of silence held before the game in Mr. Sabrowski's memory, and certainly our thoughts and prayers are with the Southern Virginia University community in this time of mourning. Hampden-Sydney in gray and maroon going left to right across your screen. They will kick off to start the second half. Southern Virginia in all white, shirts, shorts, and socks in green with green trim on the uniforms. Confirmation, no cautions or ejections in the opening 45 minutes. Will we see any in the second 45 minutes? It will be Hampden-Sydney to kick off to start the second half. Liam Hogan and Robert Kirby get us underway from center circle at the Fields in Buena Vista. We are right next to Lexington, Virginia, site of several significant historical monuments, the Stonewall Jackson House and Museum, Stonewall Jackson Memorial Cemetery, which is where the famous Confederate general is buried. Lexington also the home to both Washington and Lee University and Virginia Military Institute, the Keydets, who play Division I sports. And Hampden Sydney have been awarded the corner kick in the opening seconds of the second half. It will be costing Gregory to take at the far corner in the 46th minute. Gregory on the right foot. Punched away by Gutierrez. James Lawrence will let the ball roll out for a Tiger throw-in. Just over a minute gone in this second half. Kirby. Hamner tried to leave it off for Gregory. Intercepted smartly by Skeeters. Continuing his run all the way from center back. Now running down the right flank, trying to feed Eric Gutierrez, and cleared by Alex Strain. So a very promising run from Anthony Skeeters. Not quite the finish he wanted, but Southern Virginia almost able to catch Hampden Sydney on a counterattack. Woods lost his shoe in the process of clearing the ball away from Robert Kirby. As Marks now will call for time while Woods puts his shoe back on. Active good sportsmanship. Clock continuing to run now in the 48th minute. As that was a smart challenge by Woods, the freshman from Boise, Idaho. Throw-in, headed goalwards by Hogan, but not a whole lot of power collected on the bounce by Efren Gutierrez. Yes, Efren and Eric are both twins, hailing from Santa Barbara, California. Both are transfers from BYU, and a free kick awarded to Southern Virginia. Here's Maluba. One-on-one with Lawrence down the left side. Throw-in awarded to Hampden Sydney. Gutierrez towards Woods. Let's Munoz take it. Dallin Brand. Travis Hamner. Troy Hamner getting the touch. Another Brand throw-in. Brand winning back possession. Now a pass intended for Mason Brown. And a foul gives the ball back to the Knights. We played 49 minutes, still no score. One corner kick and 2 shots on goal for Southern Virginia. 2 shots on goal, 3 corner kicks to Hampden Sydney. Long ball intended for Robert Kirby, who's onside. One-on-one with Skeeters, who gets a critical touch. And Kirby's arguing that Skeeters may have committed the handball. Dustin Marks says it went off the defender's knee. Maluba. Rivas Cruz, intercepted by Liam Hogan. Back to Fleming. Carswell. Down the right flank. James Lawrence will keep it in bounds. Cross in towards Kirby. Now Hogan takes a shot. Just rolling wide. And a very nonchalant response by Efren Gutierrez. He had to have known it was going wide. Otherwise, he in all likelihood, would have reacted with a little bit more urgency. 51st minute, goal kick awarded to Southern Virginia. Here's Woods, bringing it across midfield, getting away from Parker, but not from Fleming, who does well to clear and force Southern Virginia to reset with an attacking throw-in. Gutierrez back to Maluba. Maluba, one-on-one with Gregory. Free kick awarded to Southern Virginia. 51 minutes played. And a dangerous opportunity here for the Knights offense. They have been shut out the last 2 games. Getting a goal here and taking a 1-0 lead could pay huge dividends to a team seeking their first win in 4 matches. Free kick was cleared out for a Knight throw-in, and Josh Patino will bring on Jared Attridge, who started this match, was taken off as a substitute about midway through the first half, and is now back in place of Mason Brown. So right now, Patino playing the 11 he originally started the match with. As a halftime substitution, Brahima Maluba came back in after being replaced by Colby Briggs at around the 16-minute mark of the first half. Long cross from Lawrence intended for Hamner. Sent back forward by Gregory, fell right to Rivas Cruz. Carswell back to McFarland. Strain. Five substitutes playing in that first half for Hampden-Sydney. Brian Barahota, Troy Hamner, Brick Kiefer, Ryan Turner, and Michael Kiv. 2 substitutes playing for Southern Virginia in the first half. Colby Briggs and Mason Brown as a long-range shot denied by the crossbar. Falls right to Lawrence. Open goal in the 53rd minute for James Lawrence. And Hampden-Sydney's pressure has paid off with just under an hour gone. The build-ups kept on coming. Efren Gutierrez was occupied by the first attempt, which ricocheted off the crossbar, and James Lawrence, the senior from Midlothian, Virginia, just happened to be in the right place at the right time. A 53rd minute goal to put the Tigers up 1-0. So now if Southern Virginia want to break their 3-game losing streak, they will have to come from behind. As it stands right now, McFarland is in line for a 3rd straight shutout as goalkeeper. A simple follow-up from Lawrence as the ricochet fell cleanly right to him. Just an easy finish, nothing goalkeeper Gutierrez could have done about it. Here's Maluba, fighting off Fleming, turns it over to Lawrence. And Isaac Campbell, the assistant referee on the near side, has his flag up for offside. Liam Hogan, the offending player. Free kick awarded to Southern Virginia, taken by co-captain Court Cox. Knights trying to come from behind. Headed forward by Munoz. Cleared by Carswell. Skeeters will collect. Send it back to Gutierrez. Lawrence's shot is the third on goal. Actually, I believe it should be fourth because the effort that was denied by the crossbar would count as a shot on goal. So fourth time is a charm, so to speak. Free kick to the Tigers taken by Strain in the 55th minute. On the left foot. Headed away by Atridge, collected by Carter. Hamner winning the ball back for Hampden Sydney. Hogan, now Kirby. Back to Strain. Tries a left-footed shot, was always curling away from goal, out for a Southern Virginia goal kick. Reminder, our next broadcast will come to you in 5 days. On Wednesday, September 17th. When Ohio Northern takes on Ohio Wesleyan. That match will kick off in Delaware at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Substitution for the Knights as Colby Briggs will come back into the field of play. He replaces Jose Rivas Cruz just like he did in the first half. This substitution now coming in the 57th minute. One-touch pass from Kirby, finding Hamner, who is offside. The flag is up from Isaac Campbell. Again, Dustin Marks, our man in the middle today, our head referee, assisted by linesman Isaac Campbell and Mitchell Leap. All three of them have been active throughout the afternoon. Pass down the right wing, finding Woods, gets across into the box. Tried to hook up with Maluba, but out came McFarland. Very smart goalkeeping by the sophomore from Norwich, Connecticut. And a long clearance now in the 58th minute. This is Dallin Brand. Munoz out on the wing to Atridge. Back inside to Munoz. Chip forward, this 1-2 touch from Atridge. And Munoz as Atridge crosses again into the box. Collected again by McFarland, but Southern Virginia showing a greater offensive identity as they did have a couple of promising opportunities in the first half. Not able to capitalize on them, but now in the last few minutes since Lawrence's goal, they have strengthened their attacks in an effort to equalize and perhaps come from behind to take the lead. Hampden Sydney will be given a defending throw-in. Here's Munoz. Attacking throw-in to be taken by Dallin Brand. Forward to Kirby. One touch. This is a new substitution for Hampden. Sydney sends it long towards Kirby. Having to reset away from goal. J.P. Ratigi, a freshman from Ashburn, Virginia, is now on the field for the Tigers. Wears number 14 for Hampden Sydney as Lawrence finding himself in position with the ball just outside the box, but cleared away by Cabot Arnay. We've played 1 hour here in Buena Vista. Southern Virginia trails by a score of 1-0 off a 53rd minute goal from James Lawrence. The Knights have half an hour now to find an equalizer and force overtime, or score twice and come from behind to claim their second win on the season. We were scoreless at halftime. Hampden Sydney generating more of the attacking opportunities towards the end of the first half. Efren Gutierrez was certainly the busier of the two goalkeepers as Lawrence tries an ambitious effort from a long way out, always curling wide away from the post. And Josh Lux is going back to the bench to bring on a 61st minute substitution. Leo Kowalski is back in the game for the Tigers, the junior from Curitiba, Brazil. Curitiba, of course, one of the host cities for this past summer's World Cup. Free kick awarded to the Knights. Here's Cox. Skeeters. Arnay, forward, intended for Maluba. Trying to get around Fleming, and Maluba fouls the Hampden Sydney defender from behind. Tigers awarded the free kick. No cards here. Very clean game. Couple of physical confrontations, but it's not really soccer if it's 100% clean. But Dustin Marks has not had to go to his pocket at all in this Division III match. Maluba intended for Woods. Got a touch to get around Carter once. Now tackle from behind by Fleming. Hampden Sydney wins the ball back. Quick turnover to Briggs, and now we're going to see our first card of the game. A yellow awarded to Brahima Maluba in the 63rd minute. So just as I was commenting about Dustin Marks not having to show a card, now he does. The freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, and the alum of Pikesville High School, his is the first name taken down for a yellow card in the 63rd minute. Ratigi losing out on the possession battle to Eric Gutierrez. Now fouled from behind, potentially. Strain did so to Colby Briggs. Mark says play on. Here's Fleming. Now Ratigi. Lawrence. His goal is the difference right now. Strain tried a one-time shot, was always rising high. And he's been having issues with controlling shots. That's not the first time he's gotten ambitious in this match. But goal kick to Southern Virginia, taken by Skeeters in the 64th minute. Maluba. Checked from the side by Lawrence. Intended to pass for Woods. Cleared back towards Arnay. Headed on by Kirby. Skeeters. Free kick to the Knights. Maluba winning possession. Tried to pass intended for Atridge. Collected by McFarland. That's about the third time since Lawrence's goal that Southern Virginia has tried a couple of crosses, but the Hampden-Sydney goalkeeper rises to the occasion, preserving his shutout streak. He's at 2 matches, trying to make it 3 in a row. Lawrence to Fleming. Fleming's cross. Out came Gutierrez. And Kirby did get a header to the ball, unable to direct it into the goal. That surely would have put Southern Virginia on the back foot. And Josh Patino is going to the bench to bring on one forward in place of another. Actually, it's a midfielder coming on. Carlos Munoz returning, the sophomore co-captain midfielder from Lynchburg, Virginia. Kirby getting around one, now 2 Knight defenders. Tries one shot, poked out by Efren Gutierrez. So Robert Kirby eager to get his name on the score sheet. And Hampden-Sydney have a near side corner in what is now the 67th minute. Only 3 Tiger defenders standing outside the box. It will be Strain to take the corner. On the left foot, headed out by Brand. And we have some physical contact in between Efren Gutierrez and a couple of the outfield players. Some pushing and shoving still going on right now. Dustin Marks has called for the clock to be stopped with 23:34 remaining in the half, and it looks like there was an injured Tiger prone on the ground. It was Thomas Carswell. Free kick awarded to Southern Virginia with 23 minutes, 34 seconds to play in regulation time. Hampden-Sydney leading 1-0 on a 53rd minute goal from James Lawrence. It was a rebound off a first-time shot that ricocheted right off the crossbar, fell right to Lawrence, who was simply in the right place at the right time. And that is the only goal so far. Will it be a winning goal for Hampden-Sydney? Rivas Cruz pokes the ball away from Ratigi, forces the Tigers to reset with an attacking throw-in. Cabernet wants to take this throw in quickly. Gutierrez heads it on. Cleared out by Carswell. Gregory getting a touch, and Briggs sticking his leg high up. A foul, no card taken, but a free kick awarded to Hampden-Sydney. Taken by Strain. Josh Lux, already the winningest head coach in Tigers school history. It's been that way for about a week. When he got to the record number of 95, he picked up 96 on Sunday against Penn State Abington. He's 22 minutes away from picking up 97 against Southern Virginia. This is Ratigi. Pass for Kowalski, not able to direct it around Cox. Here's Dallin Brand. Here's Rivas Cruz. Tried to send a cross for Maluba. Throw-in awarded to Southern Virginia, now in the 70th minute. Again, 1-0 your score. Southern Virginia trailing to Hampden Sydney after a 53rd minute goal from James Lawrence. Gutierrez heads it toward the new sub on the field for Southern Virginia. Now Gutierrez continuing his run down the left side. One-on-one with Thomas Carswell. Cross into the box. Maluba unable to control it. Turns it over to Leo Kowalski. Cole Honeycutt, I can announce, is now on the field for Southern Virginia. Wears number 25, a freshman forward from Eastman, Georgia. Brand with the throw-in. Under 20 minutes to go in regulation time. McFarland will let the ball roll inside the box before collecting. This is Fleming. Tries a cross. Far beyond the reach of Kirby and out for a Southern Virginia goal kick. Ratigi comes out. Liam Hogan, the leading scorer on the season for the Tigers, is back on the pitch. Here's Kowalski. Getting around a defender, cross into the box, cleared out by Skeeters, only as far as Strain. Continuing his run, Brand. Hogan now back inside to Kirby. Tries a one-time shot, directed just wide. Was it deflected? Yes, it was. Gutierrez did get a hand to it, an important save to keep the score at 1-0 for the moment. And the Tigers do have a corner kick in what is now the 72nd minute. And now a foul inside the box. Looked like Kirby was pushed to the ground. Right now, referee calling over Maluba to have a conversation. Maluba has already been shown a yellow card earlier in the second half. 17:51 now as the clock will restart on the corner kick from Strain. Cross into the box. Headed over. Last touch by Kowalski. Out for a Southern Virginia goal kick. So Tigers feel they should have been awarded the penalty kick as Dustin Marks continuing his conversation with Maluba, who again is already on a yellow card, which he picked up back in the 63rd minute. We're now in the 73rd. Honeycutt out to Attridge right in front of the Knights bench. Strain clears, and it's almost getting to that point where any clearance anywhere will do for Hampden Sydney. Here's Gutierrez. Skeeters. Gutierrez, one-touch pass to Munoz. Rivas Cruz cutting back inside. One-on-one against Costin Gregory. And Gregory deflected the ball out of bounds off the cross from Rivas Cruz. A corner kick at the far side upcoming for Southern Virginia. Looking for their first goal since the second game of the season. This is game number 5 for the Knights in 2014. It's Munoz. Brand did not get a whole lot of control on that touch. Still in play. In the box, cleared out. And a Knights throw-in now with 16-12 and counting to play. Honeycutt. Skeeters. Arnay sending it in towards Honeycutt. Honeycutt getting away! And Southern Virginia have equalized! Their first goal in over 3 games, and now we're going to see a yellow card here for Eric Gutierrez. Hampden Sydney was trying to get the ball quickly back up the field, and Eric Gutierrez has been booked in the 75th minute. So a scenario both good and bad for both teams. The Knights have equalized off a 75th minute goal from Carlos Munoz. It is his second goal of the season to take him into first place in goals for the Knights this season. But at the same time, their fellow co-captain Eric Gutierrez was booked for, I'm presuming, interference, as Hampden Sydney wanted to send the ball forward to restart. Gutierrez slowed down the progress on purpose. So a goal and the yellow card occurring at the same time. Usually the yellow card comes first in those situations. This time the goal came first. Here's Gutierrez winning the ball back for Southern Virginia. Now down the right side. Cross from Atridge headed out, and the Knights have a corner kick. Their first goal in 3 matches. And we are tied at 1. As it stands right now, we are headed to extra time. But here's Munoz. On the right foot with this corner. Cross cleared out of the box. A miss-hit clearance by Cox, gets it right back and sends it through the uprights. Well, it would have been good had we been playing American football. McFarland takes the clearance. His shutout streak ends at 2 matches. And now Hampden Sydney, are they going to have to prepare for an extra 10-minute period of sudden death overtime to be followed by another 10 minutes if necessary? Here's Kirby to Fleming. Fleming times a one shot, deflected, cleared up, and a collision between Gutierrez, who collects the ball, and Liam Hogan. Courageous goalkeeping from Efren Gutierrez, keeping the score level. Otherwise, it would have been Hogan's 4th goal of the season, and the Tigers would have gone back in front. Here's Fleming again. Gregory towards Kowalski, right in front of the Tigers bench. One-on-one with Dallin Brand. Poked out. Throw into Hampden Sydney. And we're going to see a substitution in the 77th minute. Troy Hamner is back on the field for the Tigers after a quick rest on the bench. Lawrence opened the scoring back in the 53rd minute. Hamner running inside the box. Got too heavy of a touch. Wanted to cross it back in towards Robert Kirby. Rolls out for... Actually, it's going to be a Southern Virginia throw-in. The ball did not go beyond the goal line. Parker wins it back. Hogan to Lawrence. Across the field, beyond the reach of Hamner, and a throw into Southern Virginia. Brand's throw-in, headed back by Carter towards Hamner. Again, this is a rematch from a game that took place last year when Hampden-Sydney won handily 3-0. It has been anything but easy for the Tigers, especially after they did go up 1-0, as right now Dustin Marks calling for time to be stopped. An injured player for Hampden-Sydney. Looks like he may have taken a hand to his face. It's Alex Strain, the junior defender from Roanoke, who has been so influential as both a defender and an attacker throughout this match. And Michael Kim has been brought on as a substitute. Strain continuing to be tended to by the medical staff. Josh Lux has, as I've mentioned, already brought in Michael Kim as a 79th minute substitute. 11:45 and counting, regulation time, 1-1 between the Tigers and the Knights. Fleming. Lawrence. Pass intended for Honeycutt. Here's Liam Hogan. Guarded by Arne, one-on-one. Crossing the box! Cleared off the line by Brand! Robert Kirby feels as if he should have put that away. But Dallin Brand right on the line, right place at the right time for Southern Virginia. Costin Gregory to take this corner kick at the far side in the 80th minute. Hampton, with the majority of chances, sits the equalizing goal. Cross! Gutierrez is cut off the line, but it's cleared again by Dallin Brand. Fleming. Gutierrez wins the ball cleanly, sends it to Honeycutt. Honeycutt tackle, it's clean, says Dustin Marks. Hogan to Kirby, one-on-one with Court Cox. And Hampden-Sydney have an attacking throw-in. Kirby's throw-in to Kim, knocked out of bounds. Here's Munoz. Tied the game back in the 75th minute. We're now in the 81st. And a deflected shot. Gutierrez, the goalkeeper, still called into action, collecting the save. Hampden-Sydney now with 6 shots on goal in the match, 6 corner kicks. And right now a yellow card on who? I believe it's a Southern Virginia player. If so, that's the third Knight to have his name taken. Got confirmation that Carlos Munoz has had his name taken down in the book. So that is the third yellow card of the afternoon, all of them shown to Southern Virginia players. Brahima Maluba in the 63rd, Eric Gutierrez in the 75th, and now Carlos Munoz in the 81st. So the goal scorer, the man who equalized in the 75th, also had his name taken down 6 minutes later. Brand. Throw into Hampden-Sydney. Here is Munoz. And Honeycutt trying to get around Carter, who's able to win the ball away from behind, send it towards Michael Kim. Gregory. Lawrence. Trying a pass out on the wing for Fleming, but Lawrence did not have a lot of room to work with on that right side. Here's Woods losing possession to Gregory. Gutierrez pokes it towards Honeycutt. Getting around Parker. Gutierrez's cross going just across the face of goal. And Southern Virginia with their first attack since equalizing, putting Cameron McFarland on the back foot. Well, our last match, most recent match on Sunday between Ohio Dominican and Bellarmine did go to extra time. The Panthers of ODU needing only a minute and a half to win a penalty, convert it, and win the match 3-2. Are we headed to extra time here in Buena Vista, Virginia? 7.5 minutes to play in regulation, 1-1 between the Knights and the Tigers. Rivas Cruz. Honeycutt's pass is a bit too heavy beyond the reach of Carter Woods. Lawrence heads it forward. Skeeters will let the ball roll out of bounds for an SVU defending throw-in. Gregory's clearance. Arnade to take the throw-in again for Southern Virginia. Woods handled the ball out of bounds. Throw-in now to Hampden-Sydney. 6.5 minutes to play. Lawrence chips it downfield for Kirby. Important intervention there from Court Cox. And Josh Lux is going to the bench for a substitution in the 84th minute. It's Ryan Turner who made an appearance at the end of the first half. He'll be brought on at the end of the second half now. Michael Kim, the man to make way for Turner. 8 shots on goal for Hampden-Sydney. Headed out of the 6-yard box by Skeeters. Of those shots on goal, 6 of them have come in the second half. Only one of them has found the back of the net. Hampden-Sydney with 8 shots on goal. Southern Virginia, in the meantime, have 4 shots on goal, 2 of them in each half. And Lux going to the bench again for another substitution in the 85th minute. Brian Barahona is back on the field, and Liam Hogan will take a seat on the bench. Final 5 minutes of regulation time. You have to feel that a goal here would be the game winner. Hampden-Sydney led for 22 minutes after James Lawrence's follow-up on the rebound after an initial shot hit the crossbar. That was in the 53rd minute. Carlos Munoz equalized in the 75th. Free kick to the Knights. Munoz loses out to Davis Carter. Towards Kirby. Rivas Cruz. Here's Woods. Brand down the right wing, out of bounds. Hampden-Sydney have a throw-in. Both teams with 4 minutes to find a game winner. Otherwise, we are headed to 2 10-minute periods of sudden death overtime. It is golden goal. We only will have a draw if at the end of those 2 10-minute periods It's still 1-1. Free kick to Hampden-Sydney. Now just about 200 seconds to play. That's 3 minutes 20 seconds in the game. Here's Gutierrez. Munoz. Try to cross, deflected up in the air by Andrew Parker. Fleming on the wing. Woods trying to tackle from behind. And Woods is judged to have fouled Fleming from behind on the other half of midfield. And Hampden-Sydney will have a free kick. Will be taken as quickly as possible by Alex Strain. Just over 2.5 minutes to play in regulation. Sent into the box, cleared out by Southern Virginia as far as Kirby. Back in towards Carter, who pushed Rivas Cruz from behind. Referee says play on. Here's Woods. One-on-one with Parker down the left wing. Woods continuing his run. And a charging tackle from Thomas Carswell, forcing Southern Virginia to reset, but with an attacking throw-in. Just over 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Headed towards Gutierrez. Arnay. Lawrence towards Turner. Cleared away, collected by Skeeters. Here's Arnay. Under pressure from the oncoming Ryan Turner. Does well to win the ball back. Final 100 seconds. Looked like Arnay may have grabbed a bit of the jersey. Hampden-Sydney maintains possession. Kirby lines up a shot. Wide to the far post, but Gutierrez deflected it out of bounds. Hampden-Sydney have the corner inside the final 80 seconds of regulation. It will be Costin Gregory to take. 7th corner kick tonight for Hampden-Sydney. And by the time he takes this, we will have just about 1 minute remaining. We're now in the 90th minute. Corner. Carswell heads it over the box, out for a goal kick. And now Court Cox will take as much time as possible in taking this goal kick, as we are now under 40 seconds to play in regulation. Southern Virginia likely to have one more attack opportunity, unless Hampden-Sydney can win the ball back and quickly get bodies forward. Now 20 seconds to play. Rivas Cruz breaking across midfield. Skeeters. 10 seconds. Almost lost possession to Turner. Skeeters maintaining the ball. Out to Brand. And we are going to head to extra time. A 53rd minute goal from James Lawrence for 22 minutes. It looked like it was going to be enough to give Hampton their 3rd straight shutout win. But Southern Virginia says not so fast. Carlos Munoz with his 2nd goal of the season. It's the 1st goal in nearly 3 games for the Knights. And we are headed to extra time in Buena Vista. We'll be back to bring you the first 10-minute period of sudden death overtime. It's 1-1 between the Knights and the Tigers on the TSG Network. For the second straight game in our NSCAA Game of the Week series, our broadcast will take you to extra time here on the Tourbeau Sports Network. Matt Digby here bringing you this Division III matchup between the Hampden-Sydney Tigers and the Southern Virginia Knights. It was Hampden-Sydney who got the first goal of the game. James Lawrence in the 53rd minute, connecting on a rebound after an initial shot went off the crossbar. Nothing goalkeeper Efren Gutierrez could have done about it. But then 22 minutes later, Carlos Munoz off a pass from Cabot Arnay, flicking the ball above goalkeeper Cameron McFarland, and Carlos Munoz getting his second goal of the season. He is now the team leader on the season as Hampden-Sydney's first goal allowed in 3 games brings us to our current scoreline of 1-1. 3 yellow cards, all of them in the second half, all to Southern Virginia. The bookings were to Brahima Maluba in the 63rd minute, to Eric Gutierrez in the 75th, and to Carlos Munoz in the 81st minute. Offsides, Hampden-Sydney was called 4 times, Southern Virginia once. Shots by period, 16 in the second half for Hampden-Sydney, 20 overall, but only 8 of them have been on target. Southern Virginia have had 5 shots overall, 4 of them on target. 5 saves made by Efren Gutierrez in the second period. He has a total of 7 for the afternoon. 1 save made in the second half by Cameron McFarland. He has 3 on this Friday, September 12th. Southern Virginia looking for their first win since their opening game. They have lost 3 straight. They had been shut out the last 2, but we are underway in the first of what will be 2 10-minute periods of extra time. If we are still tied at 1-1 after this period, we play a second 10-minute period, and if we're still tied 1-1 after 110 minutes, only then is the game declared a draw. So this game will either finish 2-1 or 1-1. Which result will happen, we'll find out in roughly the next half hour. Hogan, one-touch pass to Hamner. Kirby unable to control, turns it back over to Southern Virginia. Coming to you from the field at Southern Virginia in Buena Vista, Virginia. About an hour's drive southwest of Charlottesville. Add another hour east, that would put us in Richmond. That's actually where our crew is headed tomorrow to produce the USL Pro Playoff quarterfinal between the Richmond Kickers and Charleston Battery. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Our next small college game of the week broadcast will come to you from Delaware, Ohio, just north of downtown Columbus, on Wednesday, September 17th, when Ohio Wesleyan hosts Ohio Northern in a North Central Ohio derby. Speaking of next games for both of these teams right here, as we are now 2 minutes into this extra period, Hampden-Sydney will actually have the weekend off after tonight's game. Their next game is Wednesday the 17th at Lynchburg, an 8 p.m. kick, while Southern Virginia is back here at the Fields tomorrow afternoon for a 2 p.m. kick against Methodist. As a shot falls cleared just outside the 18-yard box. Atridge getting possession back for the Knights. Our last game, which did go to extra time, only needed a minute and a half to be played before a converted penalty, so we've already played more than that this evening. Here's Hogan, forward to Kirby. Now Troy Hamner, back to Kirby. Offside flag at the far side was up. Mitchell Leap making the call. And free kick awarded now in the 93rd minute to Southern Virginia. James Lawrence and Carlos Munoz, the goal scorers. Will it be one of those two to win it or another? Or will both teams play this one out for a draw. Throw in awarded to Hampden Sydney, who are going right to left across your screen, same as they were in the first half. Gutierrez wins the ball back. Here's Rivas Cruz, turns it over. An alert play from Troy Hamner to win the ball from behind. Court Cox intercepts Hogan's pass. Sliding tackle from RNA. James Lawrence wins it back anyway. Excuse me, not James Lawrence. As Hamner, cross inside the box. Cleared out by Gutierrez. And now running down the left side is a Southern Virginia attacker. It's Carlos Munoz. And referee Dustin Marks ruling that Carter Woods, in fact, did not keep the ball in play. It goes out for a goal kick and a substitution. Cabot Arne will walk gingerly off to the sideline, and we see the return of Brahima Maluba, who, reminder, was yellow carded in the 63rd minute. He was the first of 3 Knights to be shown a caution in the second half. Here's Strain continuing his run. Cross. Here's Parker. Looks like James Lawrence has changed the jersey number on his shirt. The number on his shorts still says 11. But looks like now he's wearing the number 29 on his jersey. We will get that confirmed for you shortly. In the meantime, free kick awarded to Hampden Sydney as we are over halfway through this first period of extra time. Again, if we are still tied at 1, we will play a second sudden death period. And if we're tied at the end of the second period, the match is then formally declared a draw. It will be the first draw of the season for both teams. One-touch pass for Lawrence, intercepted by Skeeters. And Strain winning possession away from Attridge. Honeycutt keeping the ball in play, cleared out by Hamner. Brand to take the ensuing attacking throw-in. 97th minute now. Cross into the box. Fleming will let that fall for McFarland. Long ball down towards Kirby, getting around Skeeters. And Kirby now right on the outskirts of the box. Crosses in. Wrong side of the far post. And a Southern Virginia goal kick upcoming. And a Hampden Sydney substitution in the 97th minute. Carter, back to McFarland. Forward to Lawrence, who is wearing 29 on the jersey, but still wearing 11, the number on the shorts. Joe Tyler, I can confirm, is now in the game for Hampden Sydney, a sophomore defender from Colonial Heights, Virginia. Parker winning the ball cleanly off a tackle. Just under 2.5 minutes to play in the first period of extra time. Free kick awarded to Hampden Sydney. Parker does get up under his own power. And Alex Strain will take this free kick. 2:08 to play in this first extra time. And if we're still tied at 1, a second extra time period. Clock continuing to run. Strain setting his forwards in the position he wants. Cross reaches inside the box, headed out by Cox. Here's Munoz. Honeycutt nearly ran into Atridge. Now Honeycutt brings it forward. Continuing to have space on that right side. Took one touch too many. Lost it to Carter. A foul on Southern Virginia to the dismay of the Knight fans. Both Knight fans in attendance today and Tiger fans. Both sides making themselves very vocal throughout the afternoon. McFarland to take this free kick, and we are now inside the final minute of the first half of extra time. We will keep it here for the quick break. It will literally be quick as long as it takes for both teams to switch ends, notably Efren Gutierrez and Cameron McFarland to run over to the opposite penalty boxes. Here's Liam Hogan. Poked away by Rivas Cruz. Now here's Atridge. Inside the final 30 seconds left. Atridge's cross for Honeycutt. Just beyond the freshman forward's reach. Out came McFarland to make the grab and the quick clearance. Hogan taken down from behind. Dustin Marks says play on. Kirby, a very ambitious effort. Takes a couple of bounces before going right to Efren Gutierrez, and that will do it for the first half of extra time. No goals, no cards, and we will keep it here as this break really should take as long as it should for Efren Gutierrez and Cameron McFarland to switch opposite penalty boxes. A quick word, pep talk from the two coaches, Josh Lux in his 11th year and Josh Patino in his first season. So again, 3 yellow cards in the match, all to Southern Virginia, all in the second half. Brahima Maluba in the 63rd minute. The 75th minute saw a yellow card given to Eric Gutierrez right after Munoz had equalized. What happened on that was Hampden Sydney wanted to get the game restarted quickly, and Gutierrez interfered with that, so interference was the reason for the caution. And a rough foul on Carlos Munoz in the 81st minute. That was the third and most recent booking made by referee Dustin Marks. Again, a reminder, our next 2 games will come to you on the 17th and the 19th. Wednesday, we will head to Delaware, Ohio to bring you a Division III North Central Ohio derby when the Ohio Wesleyan Battling Bishops host the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. The two teams met in Ada, where the Polar Bears had a 1-0 lead in the second half before the Bishops came from behind to get a critical road win 2-1 in Ada. Wednesday night is the rematch of that, and then our conference matchup. As conference season will get underway shortly, we will bring you a conference matchup on Friday, September 19th from Springfield, Missouri, when Drury University hosts the University of Indianapolis. That match kicks off at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, right here on NSCAA-TV. Hampden City to kick off to start the second period of extra time. This will be the final 10 minutes of the match, even if we remain at 1-1. Hampden City going left to right. Southern Virginia from right to left. Both teams going attacking the goals in which they scored back in the second half. Final 10 minutes of the match. We will not have penalty kicks. That drama is reserved for postseason tournaments. But if we do have a goal here, it would be a golden goal. The game would end right then and there. As a cross into the box. Robert Kirby unable to time his one-touch kick correctly. He really only had one opportunity to direct the ball past Gutierrez. And Skeeters will take this ensuing goal kick. Now in the 101st minute. Here's Honeycutt on the far side, right in front of the Knights bench. Turns it over. The streaks we were mentioning at the top of today's telecast would continue if this match does end in a tie. It would mean Hampden-Sydney remains unbeaten in their last 3 games because they did not lose any of their last 3 games, while Southern Virginia would still be winless in their last 4 encounters. Southern Virginia had a win, 16 losses, and a tie in 2014 as Efren Gutierrez collects that pass. Just a bit too high for James Lawrence to reach. If this result holds for the next 7 minutes, 53 seconds and counting, Southern Virginia would already reach that 1 win and 1 draw total in 5 matches. McFarland sends the ball forward. In the 103rd minute now, this is Lawrence. Fleming tried to set up a cross. Unable to direct it properly the way he wanted. Collected on a bounce by Efren Gutierrez. Davis Carter continuing his run, cleared out by Cox, only as far as Gregory. Hogan to Kirby. Offside flag is up. Kirby's shot was deflected onto the post, but the goal would not have counted. That is the second time that Kirby alone has had an opportunity waved off on the offside flag, raised by the near side assistant, Isaac Campbell. 104th minute now, under 6.5 to play before this game is declared a tie. This is Kirby. Cross for Troy Hamner, unable to control it in the air. Throw in to be taken by Dallin Brand. Long throw, finding Cole Honeycutt, bringing it across midfield. Not a lot of fellow teammates to attack with him. Cleared as far as Eric Gutierrez. Long ball down the right side, intended for Attridge. Will roll out of bounds, out for a Hampden-Sydney goal kick. 5:20 remaining in this match. If we do not see a game-winning goal in that time, this game will be declared a draw at 1-1. And it would be the first draw of the season for both teams. Here's Fleming. Fleming chipped the ball out of bounds. Maluba will take this throw in. Woods headed it on. And another throw in right at midfield for Maluba in Southern Virginia. A 106-minute substitution For Hampden Sydney, Leo Kowalski back into the game. Kowalski replaces Hamner as the action continues just in front of our broadcast location. This is Josh Smith on the field now for extra time, the sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana, getting his first action in what is now the final 4 minutes of the match. Munoz cleared from behind, ball still in play. Strain lets the ball run out, and Southern Virginia have a corner kick. Fourth corner kick of the afternoon for the Knights. And only Anthony Skeeters is staying behind in defense. After some deliberation, it will be Josh Smith to take. He will take his time. Clock continuing to run. Now under 200 seconds to play. Again, if this game is still 1-1, by the time the clock hits 0 in this period, the match is over. It will be declared a draw. Here is Smith's corner. Into the box. Off the upright of the football goalpost. And out for a goal kick awarded to Hampden Sydney. And an opportunity for Leo Kowalski. Out came Gutierrez. Kowalski not able to direct it on target. Gutierrez was beaten. The goal was gaping for Leo Kowalski. And Southern Virginia have just dodged the biggest bullet of the afternoon. Throw in to the Knights. Final 2 minutes of action. Malupa to take the attacking throw in. Now a throw into the Tigers. Fleming to Lawrence. Final 90 seconds. Lawrence under pressure from Eric Gutierrez. Continuing his run, getting around Maluba. Fleming's cross into the box. Falls right to Hogan! And Hampden Sydney, with 1:15 remaining in extra time, have won. Liam Hogan, his fourth goal of the season, coming in the 109th minute, and Hampden Sydney have won on the road. What an ending to an incredible match between the Tigers and the Knights. It will be a tough pill to swallow for Josh Patino and his Southern Virginia squad. It is their fourth straight loss as they fall to 1-4 on the season. Hampden Sydney will improve to 3-2. It is their third straight win. They will take that 3-game winning streak into Wednesday's encounter at Lynchburg. That game kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern, while Southern Virginia has a chance to get their first win since opening day on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow against Methodist at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we will take a quick break. Southern Virginia 1 minute and 15 seconds away from getting a draw against Hampden Sydney. But Liam Hogan, his fourth goal of the season, is enough to give Hampden Sydney a 2-1 extra time win in the 109th minute. And the Tigers advance to 3-2 in the 2014 season. That will do it for all of us here at TSG. We thank you for watching this presentation of the NSCAA Game of the Week series. A reminder to log on to our website, TOURBEAUSportsgroup.com, all one word, to purchase copies of this incredible match between Hampden Sydney and Southern Virginia. Reminder, our next game will come to you Wednesday, September 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern when Ohio Northern visits Ohio Wesleyan. You can watch that game right here on NSCAA-TV. I will be here ready to bring you the action from Northern Columbus, Ohio. Now for Scott Cheney, Chase Neidig, and Todd Ward, and for everyone here associated with TSG and the NSCAA, I'm Matt Digby. Thank you for watching this presentation of the Game of the Week. We will see you Wednesday, but for now, so long from Buena Vista, Virginia.